And this is an event, a panel discussion designed to allow a group of high achievers to convey in a group setting, and I know here in our settings they don't make a big deal about high achievers, okay? It's just my writing. High achievers to convey in a group setting their principles for personal mastery and peak performance that leads to results beyond the bottom line. And so this is an opportunity for you to hear the wisdom of these high achievers. Valerie Robinson, if you could, again, just share with us a little bit about your story, maybe about 2 to 3 minutes.
How do you put 10 years in 2 minutes? But my name is Valerie Robinson, and I am the CEO of Golden Gate Inc., which is a nonprofit organization, and then Gateway Gardens, which is a for-profit organization. Many of you, I believe, have heard my story as of the way in which I got started. It is not something that I had planned to do with my life. Golden Gate provides child care for children ranging in ages 6 weeks through school age. In addition to that, we are working along with the Department of Education, in which we're implementing the 21st Century Learning Center program. We are currently in 8 elementary schools where we are providing enrichment activities for students in grades 4 through 6. Currently, collectively with our daycare numbers, we are now providing services to over 550 students.
Can I just go back to Valerie for a second? There's a new program, I can't remember the name of it. You mentioned it, where tuition is reimbursed to your employees?
Oh, we were awarded the AmeriCorps grant. This is something new that we've just begun to implement as of September 1st. The AmeriCorps grant, it's a program that will focus on helping persons concentrate in providing services in the community. This is something that President Obama has really dumped a lot of dollars into, because he wants to keep the same kind of unified front in which we had years ago at 9/11. Well, he wanted to keep that going, and so he put a lot of money into this program. The excellent thing about this program is that, number one, the AmeriCorps members are not considered employees. So therefore, they do not receive a paycheck. They receive a stipend. This stipend is consistent. And so there is no interruption in the dollars in which they receive, because it is not based on hours. The intent is, after 1 year of service, they would have provided 900 service hours, and in our case, we are assigning them to go into our after-school programs and assist the students with their homework. After they have completed 900 hours, they receive an education award of $2,700. Those dollars can be used towards a pre-existing loan or to further their education. Currently, we still have openings where I believe we have about 9 openings yet. The AmeriCorps members are assigned to our Camden location, our Harrison, or our Glassboro location.
Thanks, Val. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Once again, we started Masters Catering 1929. Like I had said earlier, if some of you weren't in here, but we started out, it was a gas station and a little farm. They grew things there as well. They sold them as like on a little farm stand, and then it progressed from there to what it is today in Glassboro on the Delsey Drive there, which is a catering facility as well. We have 5 rooms there to rent as well. We do all off-site catering, whether it's in a home, whether it's corporate, whatever it might be. We go to many different states, including Pennsylvania, Delaware. We've done things, Maryland a little bit, New Jersey, of course, and we just look to see where the Lord continues to grow our company for us and see what He wants for us to do.
Awesome. Just an update about, about your company, Pinnacle Plumbing.
Okay.
And your story.
Hi, good morning again. Sean Ferlenza, Pinnacle Plumbing. We are celebrating 20 years this year. So we started in 1996. Thank you. Started working for a company. In our trade, you have to apprentice for 5 years in order to get your license and sit for the exam. So I was fortunate enough to work for a friend got me involved with a company who was a believer. So I was blessed to be able to see a Christian business owner work, him and a partner, and see. And after that, after my apprenticeship, from the very beginning, I just always felt the Lord, his call that I was to have my own business. So when the time came when I had my license, we prayed about it. And it started in 1996, just me, by myself, working out of the house. And then we started adding each year, up until the recession even, was continual growth. The Lord just continued to bless it. He was priority. So that's always part of my testimony is the business. From the beginning, he told me I had a gift with my hands, so I had to use it. Years after that, away on a men's retreat, just through prayer and stuff, the revelation came a little more clear, where it was I was to be able to finance the kingdom through my gift, which was my work in my business. So a long time, he just kept growing the business. We've never advertised, never anything. And we are back down now to having 7 in-field employees, some subcontractors, and some office staff. We were up higher, and then the recession, we were able to just restructure and focus, never declined, but just continued to prosper us and bless us with putting him at the forefront and being able to now, we cover pretty much the entire state, Eastern Philadelphia, and large projects, small. We've gotten into a lot of different areas in the plumbing and heating industry, as well as another part of the company that we are fortunate, we're blessed enough to do, is to be able to serve ministries, whether it be someone's nonprofit or even the nice thing with the chamber, part of the chamber for me is also just getting together with believers who are like-minded, but not just one congregation. There's so many churches represented in the chamber. In our business, I'm able to take my employees, who not all are believers, but they know how we run our business. And they know who's first. It's throughout our business. If you ask the non-believers, they'll tell you, which is a plus. So I've had people come through the company that have gone on, and I didn't want to lose them, but I left them to go to Bible school, who when they first started didn't know the Lord. So it's a ministry as well as a business. We've gone into churches, and we've been able to bless them with doing their plumbing at cost, where they didn't have to, as they're trying to grow or build a church, have that outlay of plumbing in their budget, which was a benefit to them. It's just ways where the Lord's used us. Then when I saw the Rick Foreman thing, it was just one of those things. When I saw that, it was just it spoke to me. It's the same thing with the guy, where he would give what he had back to that homeless, and that's where he got his joy. So it was one of those things where I have a gift, and it's like you have to use it for my glory, is what he always says. So it's my way of being able to, like, this is what I can do. And if I can make your project easier, or your building, or even just, I've had even just a little service call, and people get all worked up over these little things, because to them it's big. But it's like, okay,
that faucet starts to drip. It's a big deal, Sean.
I can do this. So and like I said, this is our 20th year. He's continued to bless us. We're at a spot right now where we have subcontractors under us. We're continuing to grow. We're restructuring now to make sure that we still have the manpower and the abilities to move forward as the Lord continues to bless us with more work and more area to cover now. So that's.
And talk about your tagline.
Bringing craftsmanship and integrity back to the trade. One of the biggest things that, as I was training, people looked at us, I'll say us as plumbers, just almost worse than car salesmen. They would look at you, and they'd be like almost a disdain because you were a plumber, and I was like, wow. And then even in the trade, talking to other tradesmen, it was like, you could see why, because they were always like, well, if I can do this, I can make more money, and I don't have to do it completely correct, and then I can have a return business. It never made sense to me. Like, well, why would you do that to somebody? So that's where it came from. The craftsmanship is just whether it be repairing your leaky faucet or building your building, some of our large projects, it's always bringing excellence. The craftsmanship has to be there. It has to be the best. Not that it's going to cost the most, but it still has to be the best. And then the integrity is just, I'll give you one example, because we're all human, we all make mistakes. My men were on a call, and a large drain cable that they were clearing a sewer dislodged, and they lost it down a sewer. And for like 3 months, this was a food factory. Their sewer kept backing up, and we kept going. We couldn't figure out why. Finally, we sent a camera down, and we were able to see we had a large piece of cable down there. And we had to break open their concrete floor to get it out.
Wow.
And everybody was like, well, what are you going to do? And I was like, well, you're going to go tell them you lost a snake down the cable.
Wow.
Down the sewer, and you're going to break the floor, you're going to fix it and get it right. And the owner, who I've come to know over time, came back to me and said, the other people that used to service us would have just told us there was something down there and charged us for all this. You're doing this, you're absorbing it and fixing us, getting us back to normal, because why? And I was like, well, because I have to go home, first of all, and at the end of the day, I have to answer it, and I have to say, did I do my best, and did I do it right? So that's why. And so that's the integrity end of it, is I can't, daily I don't know if somebody said it today or not, but it's just, daily it's, have I run my race to win? And have I done everything for you? It's like, when I go in, can I stop and say that? So.
Wow. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Sean. Yeah, Sean's also our chapter leader for our Jersey Shore chapter. And it's such a blessing.
So I just, got old. My dad got cancer. I sold my brokerage firm, which is about as big as Smith Barney. It was publicly traded, thousands of stockbrokers, 100 countries, fleets of jets. And I knew all that for 22 years on Wall Street, offices in the Twin Towers. I'm an investment banker, economist. So I just want to change the world. So I started a little company because I saw all these companies weren't getting the kind of results they needed. And I wanted a place that people could pay once and go back to for the rest of their life, that every 60 days they could come to, get business, get customers, get investors, and I wanted to give them their money back if we didn't do a good job. So they paid once, they could come back every 60 days for life, grow their skills, grow their contacts, grow their business, and I wanted it to be dedicated to God. I wanted to start in prayer and end in prayer, and I wanted to teach that competition is Satan. And I wanted to teach that cooperation is the Holy Spirit, and there's no competition in heaven. And I wanted businesses to start what I call cooperative capitalism, and how to work together in biblical terms and not be ashamed of it or afraid of it, and to see that they grow faster. And I just wanted a little boutique business that I could do for the rest of my life, and kind of be down in Florida and having this little business. And that's what I started 30 years ago. Today, it's in 140 countries. It's the largest entrepreneur organization in the world. It's ranked #1 by Entrepreneur Inc., Fortune, Wall Street Journal, Bloomberg's, everything. Its quality is off the chart. I'm proud to say in 2013, I resigned from operations and began to work with nations and governments on cooperative capitalism. We're working in Saudi Arabia, we're working in Nigeria, we're working in South Africa, we're working in the tough places. Because my guy didn't say, go to where the saved were, he said, go to where the sinners were and save them. So in 2013, I also stand, as half this room is women, that this is the time for women, that women full partnership and lady leaders have to be in front. So I resigned from the company and took the woman that had been running it as chief operating officer for 5 years and made her president and CEO. And that's the first time in 30 years I'd stepped down, really. And that was my wife. And then she slowly transitioned all the people that were with the firm that were 65 and up and put all women in running all the departments that are in 35 to 45. And since then, we went from number 5 on the Forbes list where I had us, so don't give me the credit. And with women running it, it went to number 1 and stayed there. So I credit the female thinking. And one of my great mentors said, the problems that men have created have become so massive, they can't be solved by male left brain thinking. It can only be solved by women. Gandhi said the Western women will rise and save the world. Before he died, he said that. And I believe it. And I believe you guys are examples of it. And I believe that God's holy maypole, all the ribbons are coming around, is really Angela. And so I really believe that business is going to rein in for shelter here. And I think there'll be millions in this chamber. And I think we will be in stadiums in the future.
Receive that in Jesus' name. So a first question for our panelists. What kingdom principles served you best in building your business?
Giving. When in 2008, when the business began to do a downslide because of the economy, I was lying in bed one night and in prayer, because I was planning on going to a prayer summit, asking the Lord what was it that he wanted me to bring before him. And he answered me by saying, sell Golden Gate. And I could not understand why he was asking me to do something in which I had spent so much of my life trying to build up. And I began to cry. But I was very transparent with God, and I said, I don't want to sell Golden Gate. So my prayer is that when I go to this prayer summit, that you will break what needs to be broken so that I am able to walk in total obedience to what you are calling me to do, because at the end of the day, my heart is to completely serve you. I returned back from that prayer summit, and the day after I put every facility up for sale, I thought then that God would immediately have buyers come and offer us a price for the purchase of both the facilities and the business, but that did not happen. But what did happen is that over a period of 4 years, God led me and my husband to give like we've never given before. What I realized is that God was teaching us a biblical principle, seed time and harvest, and at the same time, he was also letting me know that what he has called us to do, it has nothing to do with us, but it's about us being used as vessels in order that his perfect will be established on earth. And so here I had a mindset that I was building Golden Gate for me and my family, when in fact he said that this is his business. He asked me a question: what is the difference between ministry and business? I said, well, business depends on the bottom line. That's where the concentration is, always wanting to make certain that the number is in black. He said, ministry is when you don't care about the number, but you care about the needs of the people, and you depend on me totally to provide all that you need in order to do my work. And so during this period of time, 4 years, we began to give when it just did not make any sense at all. But we believed God, and as a result of the giving, that is when I saw things move like I've never seen. I have seen a miracle take place. At the point of losing everything that we had, we have gained back and then some, and no one can ever convince me it is a result of being a reservoir for God, allowing him to pour into us, and we release it into the atmosphere. And once he knew that he could trust us, that pouring continued, and as a result, we are where we are today.
And Valerie actually just opened, we just dedicated one of her centers. Yeah, another center, yes. And she has a waiting list for students to get into the center. How about that? Woohoo! You can't outgive God. You just can't. Even if you try, you won't. All right, anyone else? If not, I have another question. What advice would you share with someone regarding organizational structures and personnel?
I think everybody's plan sucks. I think none of you are trained properly in school. None of you have the background in school. And I think that when you see the structural potentials to do a better job, it changes everything. So organizations go through two phases, really. The first phase is struggle, and you come into surplus. And when you're in surplus, you have sustained growth. Now, when you get to hypergrowth, the systems that ran the business will no longer run it effectively when you have a number of employees coming in. So you have to do what's called systemic ramp up. You have to put systems in that change when you have 5 employees. I can do this with numbers. When you're doing 1 million, the systems that do 1 million won't do 5. When you get to 5, you need new systems. You need elasticity at 25, at 50, at 100, at 250, at 500 and 1 billion, and then it goes up to different scales. We ramp up all those systems all the time. That's what we've been doing 30 years. So when you get them installed, and to give you specific examples of it, you know, in your space, we have Chef Bruno come. He's running a restaurant. The restaurant's going into the red. He's backed up on his employee taxes. Why? Because he found out that kids are living in hotels to get off the street to have a shower, but they don't have food. But the mom has collected $60 and stayed with 4 kids in that room, so all kids can get a shower and she can use a laundromat and wash their clothes. And then they're on the street. They're called hotel kids. They're all over, you know, he's in Los Angeles. So when I met him, he was backed up. His hotel was, his place is called the White House, award-winning restaurant. He's an award-winning chef. And he was just awarded the CNN Man of the Year because he took everything he had and was feeding 300 kids a day. Wow. So we did some things for structure and alignment, and I just celebrated his birthday. His mother died this year, and he was in Italy with the rest of the family over in Italy. So we took 100 people to the restaurant and had a birthday dinner and sang him happy birthday and sent it to Italy. And he played that for all his family. But today, he wrote back and he goes, I'm crying in front of my family. Because of you, my White House is in the black. Because of you, I'm feeding 2,000 kids a day.
Wow.
Because of you, I'm now taking 100 kids a quarter. And I'm getting the moms who are staying in hotels, but they can't get first and last. And I walk them to their new home, fully furnished in an apartment. We paid first and last in the deposit. And now, hundreds of them, 2 years later, not one has stepped out. 100 of them. It's called Welcome to Your New Home. And there's been no press, no attention. He's just doing it. Wow. And who's taken the homeless out of the home and given them their home? So that's, you know, one example of structural differences in what happens with systems management, and everything's in the black. You know, it's hyper growth. It gets to be a sensational problem when you're starting to get into merger acquisitions. So when you're ramping up lots of employees, you have systems where we will have people come to us, get capital, start really growing, and then we don't see them for 2 years. Then they come back because they need systems. I had a PR firm. She's in Utah. She's 15 years in business. She comes to CO Space and she ramps up and does 300% growth. Then I meet her in Utah and she's going, I'm going to stop taking business because I can't handle it. I said, no, you come back to CO Space. She didn't understand how CO Space works. She only came once. And she went up 300%. She came back twice, got the man that helps with systems, put systems in, has now gone up 900% from when she came, and has more free time, more time off with her husband, running the business flawlessly, got rid of 2 bad partners, owns it all, and can't believe how efficient her business is running. And she grabs the philosophy, you never say no to growth. Structure, which she asked about, and organizational modeling is what allows you to heat up the coals. When they burst into flame, pour gasoline on them. Never do anything to take away momentum. Never reduce momentum, only add to it. You can always grow your talent for systems and personnel to keep up with growth and stay in the black too. It's just a matter of management. And you just grow your talents, invest in your own skill sets, because it's just options and opportunities. Every problem you've got, one option and it's not a problem. One option and you don't file bankruptcy. One option, you're able to take it all the way to the next level, okay?
Very good, thank you. I think that was great, that was great. Another question, how do you keep your business grounded as it grows?
I guess I would once again go back to, contributing to the Lord again, because if the people running it, if the owners are taking care of it properly, the CEOs, whoever it might be, if they are basically living their life for the Lord, doing what the Lord wants them to do, and He's guiding them really, then He takes care of the rest for you. So the long and short of it, I just can say, just stick with the Lord and let Him take it from there. Even though, yes, we have to show up, we have to do our part, we have to do what we have to do, but He has to still be the start.
I'd agree with Nick, just in that it starts with him, and like I said, at least for us, we've got the order that we have to answer to Him. Have I run my race to win? But also knowing that it's not, no matter what, how much you run, that He gives you the ability, He gives you the breath, He gives you the business. If you ever get to the place where it's my work, it's my running out 20 hours a day and finding jobs or having the ability to do this, or it's my gift that it goes. So if it's not, it's all Him from the beginning to the end. It's just everything has to kind of revolve around Him, and He has to get the thanks and for all of it, at least for us.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. We can take 2 questions. We can take 2 questions. Yes, Stan? If you could stand the microphone, please. And also, Zarit, if there's a way we could make sure that the breakout room session on the right is ready, and also on the left, because we'll be breaking shortly, and that the PowerPoints and everything are up and running, please. Thank you.
Stan Robinson, SHR Marketing. This question concerns business plans, and it's really directed to Bernie first, and anyone else can chime in. But when you mention infusing capital into a business for growth, what part does a business plan have as far as a foundation, such that when the capital comes in, it can be effectively used to grow?
Well, it's not, of course, I always ask people to upgrade their business plans. And how you do that is go to bizbuilder.com or just Google Biz Plan Builder, B-I-Z Plan Builder, #1 business planning software. It's very expensive, costs $89. And when you get it, it has projections in it. So you just guess, FedEx, I think, is this per month. I think office rent will be this. I think car will be this. You just guess your expenses, and it projects it 5 years ahead. And you can change anything you want. And, you take the plan that you're using and highlight all the paragraphs that don't apply to your business and delete them. When in doubt, delete. Shorten a 60-page plan down to 20. Then take the paragraphs that are all describing solid business and take the company out, put your name in, and change the paragraphs to reflect your business most customized. And you've got a finished business plan. The most it'll take is 1 day, 6 hours. These are automated. It's all software now. It's just not hard. You can do it on a weekend. If you want a super website, go to snapmonkey.com. You can have a $50,000 website if you type with your forehead. If you never liked anything about the internet, snapmonkey.com. Free demo programs, and SnapMonkey gives you autoresponders, a shopping mall, all credit cards, everything accepted. You can import everything. You can have the buttons here or the buttons there, any color you want. They got thousands of templates. Everything's integrated. It gives you data reports like you can't believe, better than Google Analytics. And they'll help you customize everything, and that's also very expensive. If you decide to use it consistently, it's $39 a month. And you don't need a web guy, and you can change anything anytime you want. And you have the equivalent of a $50,000 business website. It was made so if a monkey can do it in a snap, so can you. That's why it's called SnapMonkey.
We'll take one more question. These are good resources.
Yes, Thomas Register. My question is for Bernie. Sorry, I was writing while he was talking. For business systems, when do you determine if you should add more people to develop a business system when you're moving and growing?
Usually it's first of all, you don't add people when it's going to put you in the block. So charity and a profit-making company both have to make a profit or they go bankrupt. So your income has to be greater than your expenses. So when you're starting to pay taxes, the first thing you want to do with taxes is add people, and especially in customer service or support.